All right, hey fellow coder, welcome back to this next installment in our series where we are building a real-world web app from scratch, leveraging React on the front end and Spring Boot via Java on the back end, tying it all together with a MySQL database. So in this lesson, if you haven't already watched, by the way, any of the other lessons in the series, highly recommend doing that in the playlist below if you're watching this on YouTube. But in this one, we want to dive into the code reviewer workflow. So the code reviewers are responsible for reviewing the work that students have submitted. So students will submit an assignment, okay, just like at school, you submit an assignment to be, graded. The code reviewer, since this is code specifically that the students are submitting, the code reviewers will need to take those assignments, review the code, and when they're done reviewing the code, they need to either give feedback saying, okay, there's a bug here, there's a bug there, and leave comments and send it back to the student, or they need to say that it's all good, and here's a link to their video recording of going through the code. So those are the two sort of workflows. Either once a code review is in review, it can either go from in review to needs update, which means it's not good enough, student needs to go back to the student for review, or it goes to completed. Those are sort of the two workflows. So we'll try our best to get as far as we can down that rabbit hole in this video. So if that sounds good to you, then stick around. All right, so let's get into the code for this app. Let me just make this a little bit bigger so that we can see more of the screen. And basically, we want to be able to get into these assignments to edit them, right? That was a lot of twos. We need to get into the assignments to edit as a code reviewer, but right now all we have is the ability to claim. And basically, once they're in review, this claim button shouldn't say claim anymore. It should say something else. So let me think. When we are in review, where are we? So these are the ones that are in review. So for those ones, the button near the bottom should not say claim. It should say, edit, or probably leave feedback or something. Leave feedback on that particular assignment, I guess. I don't know what the right word is, because if a code reviewer is, they've claimed the review and now they want to, well, they can start their review, but that's not really, I guess edit is fine. And I guess leave feedback is only if there's the bad workflow. We'll call it edit. Edit review. Yeah, fair enough. So, you should spend some time thinking about a good name for functions and variables and stuff. It really does matter. So, although I don't spend a whole lot of time, I spent a total of like 20 seconds on that. I only spent 20 seconds on it because I didn't want to have 2 minutes of content with me just sitting there thinking. So spend time thinking about good names. It's very important in the real world. Cool. So let's do an edit review. So what should happen when they click on this button? So let me say save, and the claims should change to edit, right? So what should happen when they click on it? Because right now when you click on it, nothing happens, right? Well, we should switch to the view of the code review view, right? Not the code review, the assignment view, which is really just a window location href changed back to assignments / and then the assignment ID. So the assignment ID is accessible like so. So if you click on edit, it should direct you to here. Now, this is the same view that the student has when they are, like I said, or like we've seen before, submitting their assignment, right? So this is the student view. So for this endpoint, we also need to pivot and say, hey, are we a code reviewer here, or are we something else, right? And that is where we typically, well, I say typically, we did it once here, right? So in this code, we said, if they are visiting the /dashboard path, we're going to first check and see what is the role here of the person that we're working with. So I think we sort of need to do the same thing for this one as well, which is where you go to edit the assignments, right? So in here, we can say the same thing, roles.find, right? Since we're iterating through roles here and finding a role, each one that we're iterating through could be referred to as role, which is why we're using the word role here. You can name this anything you like. Okay, it could just be R or A or whatever, but role is a good descriptor. Descriptive word. Again, role code reviewer. I could have just copied the code from above, but anyway. So we're finding from our list of roles, and by the way, the roles come from the JWT. So whatever you're logged in as with the JWT at the moment, you'll have a role built into it. So we're going to say, hey, with the roles that exist for your JWT, for your logged in user, part of that roles list, does it have role code reviewer? If it does, that means you're a code reviewer. So what should we do if you're a code reviewer? Well, if this is true, the stuff I've selected, if this is true, then we will use a ternary operator to say, okay, if true, then return some sort of view. Otherwise, we can return this assignment view, right? So, but we don't want to return nothing. We want to return something. I'll paste in the private route here. And this is where the assignment view could be like, code review assignment view or something, right? Now it's saying, hey, with this code review assignment view component or view, whatever object, I guess it's a component, doesn't exist, right? So it's upset about it not existing. So we need to create it. So we'll create a new folder called code review assignment view, and we'll add a new index.js file in there. Okay, and we will probably just copy for now the assignment view index.js, which is right up here. Copy, paste into here, and then rename this, which I think you can do via, what is it? Oh, Control L? No. What is the Control Shift K? No, that's delete line. Oh, Control D, right. Control D, there we go. So it selects, the next one that says the same thing, and then we can rename both of them at the same time. So code reviewer assignment view, right? So that's going to rename the one at the bottom and the one at the top at the same time. I'm going to hit escape to stop editing them both. I'll save that. And then let me, in my, app.js, let me import this. Now, last time I tried this didn't work. Control space. Oh, good. It's right here. Boom. Save. Now, it's going to look identical, right? This looks identical to what we just had, but it's in a different component now. It is the code reviewer assignment view. So I can control click on this guy to go into it, and then we can start modifying this file to be more like the code reviewer view. So instead of submit assignment, maybe we could change that button at the bottom. Instead of, where is it? Submit assignment, this button could be complete review, right? Then you see that changes. So we saw that change, therefore we know this is the code reviewer's view, right? And for the code reviewer's view, we don't need to have this assignment number selector because we already have it at the top. It already says assignment 1. So we can get rid of the first form group, I think. So if I delete this first form group, boom, it gets rid of that. Now the GitHub URL, this should be read-only, right? We don't want it to change read-only capital O. There we go. And the branch as well, we don't want it to be changeable, so these should be read-only. Complete review, so now cool. But what we can do is we can add another form group, and we'll have another URL. So the code reviewer should be able to add their, video review URL, right? And the video review URL is tied to what? It's tied to the assignment code review video URL is the path or the string that we're storing on the back end. Video review URL update assignment should be this property. Placeholder, should say something like, well, I use screencast-o-matic.com/something. And the value is not assignment GitHub, it's assignment code review video URL. And why is that populating with this? It shouldn't be. Let me refresh. There. Okay. So that's the video review URL. So they'll be able to paste in that URL, and then they'll be able to complete their review. So when they click on complete review, it's going to kick off that save function, right? So the save function that we've done previously in, I forget what video, let me think. This guy, we want to update the status to something else. So we want to find, there's no great way to do this, right? I'm hard coding the statuses, which is not good. Anyway. I forget the status. What's the best way to do that? I mean, because technically we want to search for the status, right? Because here's the different statuses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess ideally you'd want to have an ID to use to grab them from. Anyway, I guess the ID, the position can kind of be the ID. But you just have to know that you can't reposition these, otherwise you'll break stuff, which is never something you want to be. Because if someone just goes like this and puts one above the other, right? So it says 1, 2, 4, 3, 5. That can break the app. But anyway, so let's see. If they are completing the review, then you want the fifth one, which is the fourth in the fourth index, right? So we want to say update the status to the fourth status, right? And if they are currently in review, which is 0, 1, 2, right? If the assignment status is in review and we want to update it, if we're saving and the status is 2, then but when we save could be one of two things. A save could be change it to be completed, or change it to be needs update. So really we should be passing in the status, right? So we can say, hey, if we have a status and the assignment, if we have a status that's being passed in and the assignment status is not equal to that status, then we should do the update, right? You should update the status with the status that we're passing in, I think, right? Otherwise, if we're not passing in a status, or if we're passing in the same status, just ignore it. We don't need to update the assignment again. So it's only if we're passing in the status and the assignment is not currently assigned to that status, then we should update the assignment, which goes in here, which then does the use effect here, which does the current status check, and if it's different, then it invokes the persist again, or not again, but it invokes the persist that time. We've talked about this in the previous lesson where we talked about the use ref functionality. So cool, that's one way to do things. Now the question is, does that work? So if I say complete review, what is the status that we're passing in? We want the assignment statuses at 4, I think is the enum that we want, dot, I think status is how we do that in the enum. I have to verify the code, but I think that's how we do it. Because this gets the fourth enum, but we don't want the enum, we want the text from the enum, which is the get status, which is what we do here. That'll complete the review. And then we can also do, Well, let's see. Does that work? So if I say, you know, blah, blah, and I say complete the review, oh, look, it goes to completed. We can say back, and now assignment 1 is gone. Sweet. Excellent. So then assignment 2, let's just go in there for now. Actually, let's go back, and we can log out, and then we can log in as my student and see if they have the completed assignment in there. Yeah, there it is. Assignment 1 completed. Yay! And basically, we should change color, too. I'm getting distracted. We should change the color of the code reviewer dashboard of the... Where is it? This is the regular dashboard, the student dashboard. So when we're showing the status, so submit new assignment, where do we show the status? Let me just look for the word status. Here we go, assignment.status. Badge BG is info. Unless, so essentially, can we do a dynamic... We can do a dynamic thing here, right? We can say if assignment status equals, and do we have access to the enums here? No, we don't have access to the enums. This is where we need to hard code things and it's annoying. If it's equal to completed, question mark, then we can have it say success, right? Which will make it green. The success is a thing that comes from, what's it called? Bootstrap. And that should make it green. There you go, completed. Yay! And then, anyway, this is where we can get pretty crazy with different colors and stuff. So we can say, hey, if it's pending submission, it'll be yellow. If it's in review, it can be, you know, this info color, just so there's some color coding going on. But anyway, completed assignment, there we go. Then they should be able to edit it. And, and then they should be able to see, yeah, they should be able to see the, oh man. So for the student view, okay, I hadn't planned on doing this, but that's okay. So for the assignment view, when you are a student, there should optionally be a... Oh, and the completed is the wrong color. So this is where we need to also refactor and make it a component and pull it out. Yeah, this is... Okay, there's still lots of refactoring to do here. But anyway, because you see how completed is the wrong color? It should be green here, but yeah, we don't want to have to copy paste this code everywhere. So we should refactor out this pill and turn it into something different. But anyway, okay, focus. So for this guy's code review, we have the branch, which is right here, which is this form group. And then before we have submit assignment, basically we should say this. Hey, is the assignment dot status equal to completed, question mark? Because if it is completed, we should return one thing. And if it's not, then we should return this guy. Sort of. Well, whatever. We should return this guy. Right? Which will mean it'll take away that button at the bottom. And instead, we should pass in, if it's completed, we should probably not have a submit assignment button. And we could have a back button, but before that, I want to have a... let me wrap everything here in one of these guys, because you need to have a single element as the parent, because I want to have another div here that essentially brings in a form group like this. Sorry, not a div, a form group, right? Save it. It'll look like branch is coming here twice, but I don't want branch here twice because I want to have code review video URL. And then this could be, instead of a form control, this could be a link, right? We can have an anchor tag href equals the assignment what was it called? Video review URL or something. I forget the name of it. Code review video URL. Code review video URL. That can be the href. And then the value in here, we'll just do the same thing. right? Boom. Okay. Blah, blah, right? And maybe we'll make it bold or something. Class name equals what? Bold? Strong? I forget how to make it bolded. B. Anyway, we could just say style. Be boring and say font. Oh, that's what it is. Font weight. Right. So its class name, I think, is font weight bold. Is it font weight bold? There's a way to do this. Anyway, I'll go back to style. Font weight bold. There. So it's bolded. I also kind of want to center it vertically, which is never a safe thing to do because it's always annoying. Also, the code review video URL should be the control ID here. So for the group, I think the class name, we can say deflex, and we can say align items center. Oh my god, it worked. Look at that. I've learned a thing or two in my time. So this is the URL. Obviously, this URL is not going to work, though. Cool. And I would also like to make everything else read-only once it's... but anyway. That at least allows them to see... You know, we can even change this button to be like, you know, view URL or view video or something. View code review. That's probably a better way to do it now that I think about it. But anyway, cool. So we did that part of the workflow. I wasn't intending on doing that, but hey, code reviewer, let's log in as them. And for this code reviewer, when we're editing an assignment, we have complete review, but then we should also have a button to send it back, right? That's the other status. So for the code review assignment view, we want to have a button for, you know, size large and, oh shoot, did I miss? No, I'm good. Size large, variant can be warning, I guess. On click, we'll do something. I don't know yet what. Well, I guess we could do the save. We can execute save and pass in not the complete code review status, but the one that rejects it. So where is the one that rejects it? So assignment status enum needs update. So the 1, 2, 3, fourth one, which is the third index. So we can have it do the third index, which should update it to be, rejected. And we can have the button text say, you know, reject review or reject assignment or something like that. I guess we could even make it, instead of warning, we can put it at danger. Danger, reject assignment. So, yeah, so if I say for assignment 2, reject, goes back to needs update, right? And then we should probably have like an undo button in case they make a mistake, but anyway. And then you can go back to the other view or whatever, so you can go back to the... oh yeah, there's the needs update. There you go, needs update. So the needs update can be like red or something. Okay, cool. So this is good. This is neat. Now this goes back to claim, which is actually not the right word. I think it's just more like view. Anyway, I'm getting I'm getting into these little nitpicky detail things. So this is not really that important. But for the claim down here, we can say view. Yeah, so we can view it. Whoops. What did I do? Oh, view says claim assignment, which means put it back to in review status. So, whoops. So instead of claiming it, we want to say window location, whatever. href, again, which is not the greatest way to do this. I need to look up the way to do this at some point. Maybe the next video we can do a bunch of refactoring. Maybe that's what the next video will be. So we go to / assignments / and then the assignment ID, which means I need to do this and this, and do the assignment.id. Right? So let me go back to assignment 3 because it went to in review status. Let me say reject. That goes back to need update, which goes down here, and then we can say view, and then we see the needs update. Yeah, and then instead of saying reject assignment, so if it's in this status, so we should always have a way to go back, right? So when we're in this status of so where is this? This is the code reviewer, not the dashboard, but the assignment view. When we're in this view and the status of the code review is needs update, this reject assignment button should be something different, right? So basically, if the assignment status is equal to, needs update, then we should return something else instead of this button. Right, so this button should say maybe info again, and instead of reject assignment, we can say claim. Yeah, claim is the right one, right? And that was a secondary before. At least the variant on that one was secondary. That's how they probably are used to seeing it, as a claim button. We'll call it reclaim. And then basically what that will do is it'll set it to assignment status of something else, right? So in review 012. So it'll do reclaim will be number 2. We'll save that. So if I say reclaim, it'll say in review. If I say reject, needs updates. We could keep going back and forth here, right? Reject. Now if I say complete review, when it's completed, we can have the same thing here where when it's completed, we say, hey, if the assignment status is completed, then we can have a button here that instead of saying complete review, we can have it say reclaim, right? And that'll send it back to status 2, and then that variant will be secondary, I think. Secondary. There. So I can reclaim it. Reject it, reclaim, complete it, reclaim, back. Beautiful. There you go. So that's sort of the, the back and forth of our, workflows and whatnot for our code reviewers. And that does definitely hit a lot of the different functionalities here. There's obviously a lot of little things that need to be cleaned up and refactored. So perhaps in the next video, we will touch on some of the refactoring things that we need to get done. Like, for instance, the proper way to do the window location hrefs. We should be using React Router for that. And I'm sure a myriad of other things need to be tidied up, such as these components here should be actually made into components, because right now they're not components, because the colors will matter. So if it's in a certain status, it should be one color versus another. So maybe that's what we'll do for the next video. We'll refactor so that these are componentized, and we will clean up a lot of our window location href code to leverage React Router instead, and I'll explain why we should do that in the next video. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do click above to subscribe to the channel. Always a good thing to do if you want to get notified. Obviously, you're aware of how that works. Most importantly, though, please do give this video a like if you've watched to this point and enjoyed watching me go through this stuff and listening to me. Yeah, if you really have enjoyed it, please do give it a like. And I keep forgetting to say this, and also leave a comment if you have a question. By all means, leave a comment. I will try my absolute best to answer your question if you have one. So thanks so much for learning along with me. Take care of yourself. As always, happy learning, and bye for now.